office.
Okay, so if you're President-elect Obama and you come into office on January 20th, I realize you're not loving perhaps the Geithner situation because he was involved in it, but do you give any credence to what Lawrence Summers could do? And do you go out there with a $700 billion fiscal stimulus package?
No, absolutely. What are you talking about? Summers and Geithner? These are the guys who helped get us into this kind of problem. That's not what you... It didn't work. Roosevelt tried it. It didn't work in the New Deal. You know, unemployment in 1940 was as high as it had been the whole decade. That didn't solve the problems back in those days. This is all gibberish that they're trying to do that has never worked. And instead of doing the stuff that's worked...
Okay, so let's just say for the sake of argument, we do what you suggest, which is we stop rescuing people. Look at our balance sheet.
Well, I understand, but our balance sheet's going to be even worse if they keep doing what they're doing. You think Citibank's the last one? Wait, you even think Citibank, this is the last time they're going to come to the well? Of course not. There are lots of other banks out there that are in serious trouble, too. Lots of investment banks. Do you think this is the end of the story? Of course it's not the end of the story. And now Mr. Obama and Mr. Geithner are going to spend gigantic amounts more money. This is making terrible problems for the dollar, terrible problems for interest rates, terrible problems for inflation. Down the road, we're going to have horrible, horrible problems in this country. This is a mess developing. Please understand that. If you're not worried, you should be worried.
Oh, yeah. Believe you me, I am seriously, seriously concerned about it. And it doesn't make me feel any better when I've got what used to be the big three testifying in front of Congress for why they should get bailed out. And then yesterday you got the home builders saying the same thing, too. I mean, where do we draw the line? Do you think the manufacturers deserve...
Listen, I got a couple of old bicycles I've been trying to get rid of. I'm going to call Dr. Bernanke and see if he'll buy them off of me. You know, there's an expression in America, what's good for General Motors is good for the country. It is. Let General Motors go bankrupt. That would be good for the country. What's good for the best thing that General Motors can do is go bankrupt, clean out 50 years of mistakes, 50 years of horrible debt, 50 years of obligations. You know, every time General Motors makes a car, it's got $2,000 or $3,000 in it just of health and pension benefits. That's why they can't compete. Their management gave away. Clean it out. Start over.
Yeah, because those labor contracts are lethal. What about jobs?
What about jobs? I mean, some people are losing their jobs, and it's going to get worse. We're going to have the worst recession we've had since the Second World War. And if they keep making mistakes in Washington, it's going to be worse than that. The Great Depression was caused by mistakes by politicians. Washington, Europe, all around the world. It's happening again.
Yeah, but don't you look back to what happened in the Great Depression and suggest that things were much different in the Great Depression than they are today?
In what way? We were a creditor nation in the Great Depression. We're the largest debtor nation in the world right now. Yeah, it's different. It's much worse right now.
Yeah, but we don't have 25% unemployment.
Not
yet.
We
don't have a tax code that was at 70%.
Mr. Obama, you know, Mr. Obama's two platforms were, and I did not vote for Mr. McCain. Obama's platform...
Did you vote for Obama?
No, I voted... It doesn't matter who I voted for. The point is, Mr. Obama's platform was to tax capital. Oh, my God, what kind of genius is that? Here we're in the worst capital shortage in 50 years anyway, and he's going to tax capital. And his second platform is to protect all of us, protectionism. Now, what more do you need? If he comes in and brings in protectionism and taxing capital, that's the end of the story. That's the Great Depression number two.
Jim, I hear all of what you're saying, and I feel a lot of those frustrations. But I want solutions. I want to know how we're going to address the fact that housing prices in this country continue to decline. What are we doing about it? How are we going to...
What are we doing about it? Are you going to go out and buy all the houses? There's nothing you can do about it, short of letting them go down and hit bottom.
Yeah, but if you let everything fail, won't we go into the Great Depression? I mean, doesn't it make sense to do things like FDIC Chair Sheila Bair and try to refinance people's loans so that they can stay in their homes? I mean, do you want this to be a self-fulfilling prophecy?
You're very bad for my nervous system, I must say. The things you keep coming up with. You should go to Washington and be one of them.
No, I'm not agreeing with a lot of their plans, but I do think that, look, there are plenty of economists, some of the smartest minds in the world, who say part of how you get yourselves out of the most difficult of times is through some kind of fiscal stimulus, is by spending your way out of it. It hasn't worked, believe me.
It has never worked. Never works. What do you mean some of the smartest minds? Some of the smartest minds who went to some fancy Ivy League colleges and say they're some of the smartest minds. Dr. Bernanke does not understand economics. He does not understand markets. He does not understand
currencies. But we let housing fail. We do nothing about jobs. We let our banks and our and auto manufacturers or whatever else fail.
Who's going to pay for all this? We're going to print money. Dr. Bernanke is going to print money. He's going to run those printing presses as fast as he can. You think that's good for the world? You think that's good for America? It has never worked. Never in the history of the world has debasing your currency worked. Why do you think it's going to work this time? Let me go back to what Dr. Einstein said. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.